Mike Cherry is National Policy Chairman for the FSB. Why has the Federation of Small Businesses decided to engage with IFSEC International in 2012, Mike?
The Federation takes crime against business obviously very, very seriously. We are the largest business organisation in the UK, and from our surveys, many of our members, in fact about 2/3 of our members, say that they are affected by crime against business. So it is a big issue and has been for some considerable time.
What will be the key messages you'll be outlining at this show on the 16th of May?
I shall be looking at what we can be offering to give support and help to all of those businesses that need to have representation from the FSB on the whole issue of crime against business, because quite honestly I don't believe that the government and successive governments have ever taken this as seriously as they need to. Wearing my other hat as the Vice Chairman with responsibility for policy for the National Business Crime Forum, which was launched back end of last year, we are now working across a whole range of groups, not least of course with ACPO and the Home Office, and many others now are also joining forces with us to make sure that the government recognises the true impact of crime against business. When I was involved with the regional forum in the West Midlands, the Regional Business Crime Forum, we undertook a survey of all reported crime over a 5-year period, and the cost of that against the business community came out at a staggering £1.2 billion, and that was on reported crime alone. And part of the problem is, of course, that the government still, and again this is successive governments, have not yet put in place a proper definition of crime against business, which means that it is inevitably not properly recorded and dealt with by all of our police forces. So we are calling on the government and ACPO to bring this in as quickly as they possibly can, and maybe even by the time the show goes live, we may have something in place, which will be really good news, because then we can start holding people to task.
Could you outline for us, Mike, what you believe to be the 3 biggest issues facing smaller business owners in terms of crime and criminality perpetrated against them at present?
Clearly it is predominantly low-level crime. If you're a small retailer, then it's it's vandalism, it's youths possibly standing around the premises, intimidating or being intimidatory. Not overtly so, but that's the feeling that a lot of people have. And of course, you've seen recently the huge impact that metal thefts has been having, not just to the business community, but to the general public as well. And so there's a huge range of issues there that we believe need to be tackled. And of course, often it's the low-level crimes that mean that people then get away with that, get a slap on the wrist, get a nice ASBO, which is almost a badge of honour sometimes. And I think it's having effective and proportionate sentencing alongside of all of the other issues around crime against business.
And how are the smaller businesses looking to address these issues, Mike, and fight back against the thieves and criminals?
Well, that's very much where the FSB and other business organisations can step in. We can get that representation across to all the bodies that are concerned, ACPO, as I've mentioned, the Home Office in particular, to get the recognition of the damage that it's doing, and particularly in the current climate. I mean, often we hear that crime against business is this so-called victimless crime. It most certainly is not, and we only have to look at some of the small but very severe incidents that have happened in recent years, where individual shopkeepers have been intimidated or at worst even killed. And you see that it's not that victimless crime. It has an impact on the family that may or may not own the business. It certainly has an impact on our employees. But particularly when you look at the current economic climate, it has a very, very severe impact on the economics of the community that our businesses operate in, and the wider economy as a whole.
Are you concerned about the proposed cuts to policing budgets? And if so, what elements of the coalition's plans are of most concern?
I think we're always concerned when we hear cuts of this sort of nature. I think nobody doubts the fact that all sectors in the public arena need to be probably sleeker and more effective. But that shouldn't be at the expense of proactive policing on the ground, which of course is where the vast majority of small businesses do rely on the police forces to respond appropriately to any reported incidents, and they don't often employ security guards like their larger businesses will be able to do. So we very much rely on the police force to respond, and I think it is important that the police force recognises this with the advent of police commissioners coming in this autumn. Very much hoping that with the National Business Crime Forum and the work that it's doing in joining everything up across a huge range of groups, that the police commissioners will have will be able to recognise that their respective business communities and be able to engage fully with them to make sure the voice of the small business in particular is not only recognised but also heard and appropriately dealt with.
And last but not least, Mike, what are the Federation's main hopes and aspirations for the 2012-2013 business landscape? Well,
clearly we hear so many times that government speaks about small businesses being the backbone of the economy. We are very much calling on government to deliver against that. We've heard the rhetoric for too long, to be quite honest, and we are certainly expecting the government to deliver confidence into the economic agenda, to make sure that small businesses actually do get the opportunities and the incentives that they need to enable them to grow and to take on employees.
Thank you very much, Mike.